All right, a few months ago, I picked up the Sony FX30, and I have thoughts, but that's not for today. Today, I want to talk about these lenses, the SLR Magic Cine Micro Primes. After starting to use the FX30 for a while, I wanted to jump in to get some native lenses for it. So I ended up reaching out to SLR Magic to see if I could test drive some of their new Super 35 micro primes. I ended up working out a deal where I could shoot some test footage for them with these new micro primes. So does that make me a little bit biased? Definitely a little bit, but am I impressed? Definitely 100%. The value proposition from these lenses of like the affordability standpoint to the build quality to the actual performance of the glass is pretty phenomenal. That's the only thing I can start with. But in this video, I want to look at a lot more and yeah. So maybe you've actually never heard of SLR Magic, and that actually might make you confused as to why I reached out to them and not another brand, but I was personally really excited when they announced that they were making Super 35 Cine Primes, and here's why. SLR Magic has been making lenses since 2010, and they put out micro primes in 2012 and 2013. They put a Hyper Prime series out in 2015, and that matters because around that time I was in film school and really starting to nerd out on camera stuff. And SLR Magic was making big swings with affordability and the quality they were putting out, so they were kind of making a name for themselves way back then. So naturally, you can see why in my mind, SLR Magic's like the OG of making affordable Cine Primes. Okay, let's get to some camera nerd stuff, and I'm gonna read straight off this page. So, the Super 35 set is 17mm at t1.5, 35mm t1.5, and 50mm at t1.4. Each lens is priced at $349, but at the time of recording this video, it's on sale for $299. Okay, let's take a look at the build on these lenses. All of them have an 82 front diameter, so you can put a matte box on them if that's your thing. But for me, I mostly end up using screw-on filters. So all three primes are the exact same size, and they all fit into a tiny little backpack, and the FX30 also fits into this backpack. So to have a whole like lens set and just be able to travel with one backpack is pretty nuts, actually.
Thanks for lighting, Nolan.
Got you, bro. These lenses may be small, but they are heavy. I'm really happy with the all-metal construction on this set. All the lenses feel really sturdy, and I definitely couldn't be happier with the build quality on these. Okay, now let's take a look at how these lenses focus, how they breathe and flare when wide open, and how they sharpen up when you stop down a bit. All right, so we're on the 17mm prime right now, shooting at wide open at 1.5. We're gonna try a handheld focus pull, so I don't know how this is gonna go. So these lenses have a 150-degree focus throw, which means it has hard stops at either end. So this is why I could use just a one-hand rotation to get precise focusing. But of course, it would also work really well on a focus wheel as well. So if you're paying attention, you probably noticed the flare from the street light on the 17mm, and I want to do some testing to see how the rest of the lens set compares when facing a direct light source for flaring. This is the 17, we are at T1.5. Okay, here's my flashlight, full power. Yeah, it is a really nice looking flare, I will say that. Even around the actual light source itself. Let me stop down and see if that changes anything. So I'm just slowly rotating T-stop here. Pretty much right before 2, it cleans right up. I kind of like the middle ground because the flare, like I do like the characteristic of the actual flare. If we can like split the difference, so yeah, like you're still getting that nice like rainbow effect. Okay, let's, wow. Okay, let's move on to the 35, I can't do this. Let's move on to 35. Here we go, got the 35 on there. Let's open that guy all the way to T1.5. Definitely not the same characteristics. Let's see if we go closer. They do have a really nice flare. I think just on the 17, it's just too gnarly. See that outer ring right there? And then we lose that right before 2. 35, definitely my favorite lens out of this lineup. Really beautiful flares, and yeah, only good things to say about it so far. Let's move on to the 50. Really pleasing flare. I don't know, man, the 50 is also so nice. We did this one car shot that had such nice like flares and bokeh in it. All that character just cleans up with like a half stop of a change on all of the lenses. Okay, it's kind of cool to know that you have total control over the flare characteristics of these lenses, But next up, I'm going to put the 35 micro prime against my Sigma 18-35. It's my main lens, and it's also like a clinically sharp lens. So we're going to do a wide open test and then stop it down to f8. And I also am curious about some focus breathing that happens on these. So let's get into it. All right, we got the goated 18-35 wide open at 35, and the 35 prime wide open, and there's no hiding which is which wide open here. When you stop down on both these lenses, they look really similar. Really happy with how sharp the SLR Magic primes are. All right, let's do a quick focus breathing test. I ran this test on all the lenses and they all perform pretty much the same. You can see in the left side here that a C-stand kind of pops into frame as I pull focus. And you know what? I'm not remotely mad about how these perform based on the price. Okay, now that we have all that out of the way, let's take a deep breath, grab a glass of water if you need it, and let's take a look at these lenses and see what they can do. Wrap the shoot. Super impressed by these Cine primes. The FX30 works perfectly with them, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you to SLR Magic for sending these lenses over. I feel absolutely so privileged to be able to do this. And if you like this kind of thing, maybe hit that subscribe button because it would mean a lot to me. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.